Welcome to the Be Happy Now show. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. I'm Claudia-sam. If you know that you're here for a bigger reason, this is the place to be. Together, we ditch the self-care guilt and quit the go with less fear and more trust. Tune in to living life in alignment with your full potential. The Be Happy Now show starts now. Hello, beautiful soul connectors. I'm so excited to be here again with you on the Be Happy Now show. I'm Claudia-sam, your soul connection coach. And today it's all about letting go of the but how. I'm going to share my personal story, my personal journey towards releasing the need to know everything and the need to control so that you can surrender to what life wants for you. And this is part one because I'm pretty sure that there will be many other parts, as this is my self-development journey right now in the works, open book right here with you. And as a reminder, like I said, my name is Claudia-sam, and as your soul connection coach, I help you flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment. And if at any time you want to dive into more of the goodies that I share with you, then feel free to go to claudia-samcoaching.com and you'll find a lot more of information. We're going to start with answering the question that you might be thinking, what's so bad about the question, how? Claudia-sam, why does it matter if you just want to know how? That means you want to know the way, you want to get to know the answer. That's not bad, right? Hey, listen, I was the first one to raise my hand when I was in school. And if I have some schoolmates listening, they might have been like, oh, right, annoying. Claudia-sam was annoying. Maybe it's just in my head. Maybe I wasn't that annoying, but I know that I was the one asking many questions in school, even before the lectures had started. So there's nothing wrong about asking questions, but what I want to share with you is that there's a way to ask questions so that our intuition answers it and not everyone else around us. Because one thing for sure is that by being here, you want to find your own way to living a fulfilling and purposeful life. You don't want to follow nobody else's rules and directions than your own. Is that true? I'm here to help you find that own clarity within yourself so that nobody else acts as the director and the guide that would influence you off of your own path. So what's so bad about the question, how? In a self-development journey, when we ask the question, how do I do it? Or how is this possible? Or how will it happen for me? We keep ourselves stuck in a pattern of needing to know a specific way, and we find ourselves unable to hear that inner voice, that inner guidance. So I'm here to help you see that you can keep asking questions. Now, it's just a matter of kind of turning the voice inwards, and I'm sharing my own experience right now as I navigate through the releasing of the need to know so that I can surrender to life's flow and embrace the abundance that my mind cannot even conceive yet. And proof is that the Be Happy Now show kind of landed on my lap. Thank you, Transformation Talk Radio. This happened on my lap. My mind could not conceive that I would be a radio host on the Transformation Talk Radio because I didn't even know it existed. My mind did not conceive what was happening for me, except It landed on my lap because I allowed myself to not control when and how the radio thing was going to happen for me. I knew in my heart that I would have a radio show or a podcast, but I chose to trust that it was going to happen when it needed to happen. What the asking of the how brings to me is like if I'm handing over the responsibility to the universe. It's like if I'm saying, or not to the, well, I guess to the universe. It's like if I'm letting the responsibility of my success off of my shoulders. It's like if I don't want to take responsibility for what happens in my life, and instead I just want to kind of put it on someone else so I can blame someone else. Do you feel like that sometimes, where it would just feel way better if you could just blame someone else for what's happening in your life? Well, when we keep asking, how do we do this? How do we do that? How do we get there? We hand over the responsibility to someone else than ourselves. But the thing that we forget is that it's so cool to have the responsibility of guiding, of navigating through our life. This is an opportunity that you have as a fortunate human being in this world listening to this podcast. You have the beauty of choosing whether or not you can be an active participant in your own life instead of putting it on someone else just so that you can blame someone else. Because there's no such thing as blaming. I'm working towards releasing the thought that failure needs to be a thing. It's just a series of experiences. That's how I want to see it. What I want us to get into right now is what's the inner voice and how, pun intended, can I listen to it? There's this beautiful dance between ego and heart. And if I take the radio show example, if I let my ego drive, I would have spent hours looking for how to hold my own podcast, what to do, what equipment to get, where to post it, and the list goes on. I would have let the ego guide me towards creating a structure that my ego thinks it's safe to be in to organize the shows, instead of leading with my heart. And this right now talk that we're having, as we continue along with it, I basically, in my notes, I wrote live download of what's coming for me to share with you. There are 3 things I've learned so far that I haven't prepared, that my intuition will guide me to answer live with you listening. I don't know what that is. This is the dance between the ego and the heart. I'm going to let the heart guide me, and I don't know what it's going to say. And before we go there, I wanted to share with you the 3 stages of ego that hold the body together and that develop at different stages in our life. This was shared by Guru Singh, one of the yoga teachers that I love to follow. He's a Kundalini yoga teacher in California. And he talks about these 3 stages of ego, which helped me see that ego is not all bad. The bad rap that ego gets, he calls it the exclusive ego. He says then there's the inclusive ego. That's the one that builds community and the support system. And then the ego that builds connection to that heart, to the higher self, to a higher power, is universal ego. So the dance between the ego and the heart, when I talk about ego, I often mean the exclusive ego, the one that gets the bad rap, the one that we kind of don't really like in our life because it keeps us in this fearful, not enoughness space. It keeps us in the, but how? energy. You're welcome to refer to my talk on how to feel better about yourself when you feel stuck along your life's path. And you can have an idea as to what living from a place of ego means energy-wise, and you can feel into where you are in the freedom from fear vessel in that talk. But right now, and if ever you want to learn more about the connection between the ego and the heart, then hop over to claudia-sam-coaching.com, and there's many free resources for you to dive into. Right now, let's have you and I connect with our heart before I do the live download of what's coming for me to share with you. There are 3 things that I've learned so far by working on releasing the but how, and I haven't prepared it, and my intuition will guide me to answer you. Together, if you can, close the eyes and notice the in and out of the breath through the nose. Try to relax any tension on the face. Relax your jaw. Unclench the jaw. And if the tongue is pressed up against the roof of the mouth, let it go. Can you relax your shoulders a little bit more? And if your belly is tucked in, let it go. Breathe in and out. And from this place, arrive at your heart. Be aware of the heart beating. And I like to ask my heart this question: what do I need to know? What do I need to know? And if anything comes up for you, feel free to open your eyes and write them down. And I'm going to ask myself this question that I don't know the answers to yet. What are 3 things that I've learned so far about my releasing of the how journey? I learned that the how lies in an energy of gripping. So if you right now want to do this with me, that if your fists are together and you're clenching your fingernails into your hand, I don't know if you do it, if you're doing this too, but my face is clenching right up. And I kind of just want to go, and then my upper body is kind of rounding, and I feel really like, I don't know, like Shrek. I don't know why that image comes up, but like, it's just, I'm round and but I have fists and it doesn't feel so comfortable. I learned that this is the energy of the how. And then let's try together to release the clenching of the fists. Notice if your face and the facial muscles are relaxing. Notice if your chest wants to open up and your shoulders draw down. That's what's happening to me. And although it's really weird, but it's really hard to extend the fingers to an open palm. This brings me to continue this explanation of this tight energy and how the how lies in that tight energy, and that it's hard to extend the fingers back out again. It feels like, for me anyway, when I'm asking the how, it's the need to know that keeps me in this stuck energy. And if I want to be open to hearing the answers, I can't stay in the closed energy, because there's like this rock that's being created, or the protection around my heart. There's no way I can listen to the heart or feel it beat. So what I've learned, and thanks to my coaches at Rise Leadership Circle, they've helped me to open up, to feel expansive, and to trust that this is the natural state of being: open, trusting, flowing, abundant. Because if I live through life in the how energy, this is one of the things, the first thing I've learned, apparently there's two more, is that if I do stay in the how energy, it just doesn't leave space for possibility and openness. Let's see what the other two things that I've learned from releasing the but how. And you can take this time to write out what is helpful for you at this time while I'm sharing this with you. I've learned that there's no one right way. I've learned that the need to know and the desire to know how to do something, to get somewhere, it's like if I'm anchored in the belief that there's one right way, there's a perfect way to do it, and that if I don't do it that way, then I'm failing. That's what I've learned. And I feel like I am continuing to be able to trust and believe that if I had stayed stuck in that one way to see how to have my own radio show, I would never even be right here speaking with you. So this works. I've learned that by releasing the need to know, by leaning back and letting positive spirit, positive energy source provide me with what my highest self wants for the highest good of all, then it just happens. It's not one right way, because this is the right way. The universe provided the right way for me. I had no control over it, which brings me to that third thing. I think the third thing I've learned from releasing wanting to know, needing to know, asking the how, is that I'm not in control. Ooh, interesting. I believe that we are in control over what we can do with our thoughts. I believe we are in control of the choices we have in life. I believe we are in control of making self-care a lifestyle and of finding those answers within us. And now that I'm not in control is interesting. What I'm getting is that I'm not in control of the outcome. I'm not in control of the results that I get. I'm not in control of exactly the way it pans out for me. And I say it, but it can be anything that's going on for you in your life. When we release the need to know the future, there is an automatic release in our energy that says, okay, universe, positive energy source, I know I can't do it better than you. This is something else I learned. I know I can't do it better than you. That's me releasing control. And I'm okay with that. I trust that I'm here for whatever reason you brought me here. And in future talks, I will explore and share with you one of my missions that is so deeply personal and powerful that if I wanted to force and control the mission or the information that was to come through for me about the mission, I could have never written it out the way it wrote itself when I connected to my intuition. So I'm learning that the but how is only keeping me stagnant and stuck. It's only by staying in the but how energy, it's pushing me away from living life better than what my mind can conceive for me. I am so curious to hear what's going through your mind and what resonates with you as we explore this topic together. I want to gently close us off with reminding you how at the beginning I said that there's nothing wrong with asking questions, and that I was the girl who always asked many questions, who used to ask so many questions, and I still do. But there's a difference between the energy of asking questions before the lecture starts, because the need to know is so strong that it would put you unsafe, feeling unsettled, in discomfort, to not be in control of what's to come. So now when I ask questions, I try to invite more spaciousness so that I can receive, instead of just wanting an answer for my ego, for the ego, exclusive ego, to feel good about itself. Because that's really the only reason, right? Asking all these questions before a lecture starts. Have you been there? Or asking so many questions during a talk that you can't even know whether or not the speaker is going to answer your question because you asked it before it was said. So I've learned to keep asking questions, but leaving spaciousness for the answer to come before I even ask the question. And I can't tell you how many times I found myself, especially with my coaches, because as a soul connection coach, it is my greatest honor to coach my clients to flex their soul connection muscle and be their inner guide. But it is also part of my responsibility to do my own coaching work. And so that's how I get all these insights and how I grow. And instead of asking my coaches all these questions, I first leave space for the answers to come. And if I still feel stuck, then I will ask. But it's like this choice that we have to leave space for internal direction versus external direction. You are here to be your inner guide. You have it in you. That's the name of my Facebook group. If ever you want to join, it's free. You have it in you, all the answers, the confidence, the empowerment, the what to do, how to do. And sometimes it just feels really good to ask someone because we just don't want the responsibility to have the answer. But I'm here to help you feel empowered to tune into the heart. Come back to listening to the heartbeat like you did a few minutes ago. And feel the breath in and out of your nose. Those are two powerful reminders of your aliveness, the breath and the heart. And those are two powerful reminders that you don't need to control them. They just happen. You don't need to expect anything from them. They're just there. Let me ask you this question. Are you willing to let your intuition guide you and ask the how question to your intuition versus to others? Are you willing to let your intuition guide you and ask the how question to it instead of to others? How beautiful that you're here, available and curious to stretch and flex that soul connection muscle. Whether you've done it in the past or whether it's new for you, I invite you to check out tuneinprogram.com. That is my soul connection coaching one-on-one program that helps you to tune in, but in a way that suits you, in a way that is you defining and clarifying your path to purpose. And if you're like, yeah, that sounds fun, Claudia-sam, but how do I do it with you? And how do I know if this is right for me? Then I'd love for you to book a Say Yes to Yourself clarity call with me. If you wish to discover what direction your intuition is guiding you in and what steps to take to get there. And remember, the steps that you will get won't be mine, they will be yours. Go to tuneinprogram.com and you'll have the link to book your clarity call. And again, if you want to gain access to a free Just For You training by donating and supporting me and the show, go to the BeHappyNowShow.com website and all of the information is there. If you wish to meditate with me, be sure to check out my teacher's profile on Insight Timer, where you can get more of that connection with your heart and with the breath in the present moment. May you trust that inner guidance. May you believe in your ability to hear the messages from your body and heart. May you remember that the how can be asked with spaciousness and freedom. And may you know that you are worthy of feeling safe within your soul. Thank you so much for being right here, right now with me. And I'll check in with you soon. Bye-bye. You've been listening to the Be Happy Now show with me, Claudia-sam. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. Tune in live every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on transformationtalkradio.com. You are worthy of being you and of connecting to what stops you from living the life you are meant to live. Access more soul connection coaching at claudia-samcoaching.com.